Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today, it's another Mopar A-body day. This Slant 6 in this car has not run right for a long time. It seems to miss. It acts like it's running on, instead of 6 cylinders, 5 or 4. What I want to do is take a look and see what's going on. We'll start by pulling some of the plugs, take a look at them, and then while we're at it, we'll just check the compression on each one of these cylinders. Let's get to it. Today's an easy one. We're just going to check the compression on this motor. It hasn't had a lot of miles on it since it was rebuilt, but it is backfiring a little bit through the exhaust. Nothing horrible, could just be timing. But while I'm out here, I'm going to pull the plugs, take a look at those, look at the cap and rotor. And if I've got the plugs out, might as well check the compression while I'm at it. So as a piston comes up on the compression stroke, it comes up and squeezes the air inside the cylinder. That pressure of the air and fuel mixture then explodes back and gives you your power stroke. If you have anything like a crack in a ring or a burnt valve, anything along those lines, pressure can leak past that and you end up with a cylinder that doesn't provide as much power. If it's a burnt intake valve, you can get backfiring up through the carb. If it's a burnt exhaust valve, you can get backfiring out the exhaust. Lots of weird little things like that. At any rate, what we want to do is we want to check all of the cylinders and make sure they are all about the same. So what we have to do is we just pull out a plug, then we use a compression tester. This has an adapter that will screw down in, take the plug out, screw this in, connect this to it, and then we crank over the motor without the coil hooked up so it won't actually start, but enough to make the pistons move up and down and compress it. And this gauge basically will run up to the pressure. And it's got a little reset over here that we can push to drop the needle back to 0. So let's get a plug out of here and insert the adapter and show you how this works. This compression tester has 2 adapters. This one actually can screw in here if you want it. You'll notice that the threads are much longer, so this is for different types of plug. The important thing you want is look at your plug. Look how far this is. I don't want to use something like this that's extending further than the plug in because the piston can come up and smack into it. This one has actually these short threads here. Look like they're less than that, so that's perfect. We'll just run this in. Then it's like an air hose fitting here that this part of the adapter just snaps onto. So we just run this into where the plug is. The connector on this gauge is kind of bulky and there isn't a lot of room around the plug on this head, so I had to make a little adapter. You can see it's a little bit smaller and then it'll plug right in here, and then this will go onto that adapter that's in the head. Now we'll go crank it over and see what our compression looks like. You can see it looks like about, what, 135 pounds or so? Now we'll take a look at the other 5 and make sure that the compression's about the same on the rest of them. I originally started with hole number 2 because it was easy to get to. I didn't get any reading on the gauge, so I went and checked the tester on the compressor in the garage, made sure everything was good. Still nothing. I moved it to hole number 3, and that's the one I just showed you where I get 135, 140 psi. Came back to here, and then I had somebody else watch the gauge, and it goes up just a hair, like maybe 5 psi. So it appears that I have no compression on number 2. This motor's only got about 3,000 miles on it. Probably less than that, probably even less than 2,000. At any rate, I had it built by someone else before I had a garage. I had no place to do it, but it's been about 20 years ago now, so I can't really go back to the guy and say, hey, what the hell happened here? I have no idea if it was actually built properly, built at all. I really don't know anything about it. He could have just pulled some other thing, sprayed it with a little bit of paint and thrown it in. I don't know. Again, this is a good buyer beware situation, but that hole is definitely dead. I'm going to move up and test these other ones and see what's going on, but number 2 looks to be completely dead. The solution, well, I don't know what the solution is yet because we don't know the exact problem, but the next thing to do would be to take the valve cover off and make sure that the valves are moving up and down, not stuck open. If they are doing what they're supposed to do, then one of the valves is probably burnt, and so that there's a gap between the seat and the valve face. And if that's the case, well, in almost any case, this head's going to have to come off. But if it's just a burnt valve, might be able to get away with taking the valves out, lap the seat, drop a new valve in, put it back together. I've been talking about putting a turbo on this thing for a while. This might be the excuse to do it. Cylinder 4 looks like it's about 100 psi. So 1 and 2 are dead. 3 has good pressure. 4, it's 100. I guess it's way better than 0, but I don't even need to test 5 and 6. I know that this motor's got problems. I guess we add this to the list of projects that need to be done. Thanks for watching.